Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to 180 Church. My name is Pastor Baker. It's a blessing to be before all of you. Welcome. Tonight we're going to have Soul to the Polls, which is our prayer, praise, and political discourse. Welcome, one and all. Before we start, we're going to start off with a word of prayer. So if you all would bow your heads as we begin this. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to be in your house. I pray tonight that as your people gather together in order to hear and to be educated on political aspects, Lord, that you would just let your truth and your spirit be here. I pray, Lord, that you would bless everyone that is in this building that has sacrificed to be here tonight. I pray in the name of Jesus that you would just be with us and that you would bless each and every one of us and equip us to go out into our communities and affect change. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. God bless you.
Hello. Uh, Thank you all for coming. Um, my name is Ramon Jackson. It's my brother, Udale Gibson. Together, we work within the black communities in order to make sure that resources is regurgitated back to us in the form of contracts, in the form of grants, and in the form of opportunities. We also champion election fraud. These sessions right here that we do on Fridays and Sundays at 180 Church is to educate our people just throughout all the communities about the importance of politics, how politics correlates with your life, how politics regulate your life. So we have an agenda, but I want to first read something out. My book, The Black America Report. I'm gonna start on there. First, we thank 180 Church for allowing us to come into their church. This is the only church in the state, in the city, that would allow me and this brother to come on a stage and demonstrate these measures that we talk about. No other church, despite whatever they say, despite whatever hooping and hollering they do, it's the only church right here in the city that'll let the advocate Ramon Jackson come to this stage, talk about this book right here, and talk about the resources that's being robbed throughout our communities, and to talk about election fraud that's going on and how these elections is being stolen. So I thank 180 Church and I thank Pastor Sewell for allowing us to come into this church in order to do this and to work with us in order to make these a reality. I want to first read out a portion of this book, of my book. Anybody who don't know, this book is the Black America Report. I wrote it some years ago. This is like my third copy that I rewrote. But in this book right here, it talks about various different revenue streams that comes into various different communities based on tax dollars. Talks about how you can regulate those tax. I'm talking about comprehensively how you can regulate those tax dollars. This book right here can guide a person who really want to be politically astute to awareness about politics. Once you read this book right here, you would never ever look at politics the same again. You would never look at your government the same again. And you would know whether or not you've been represented or you've been misrepresented. But I want to talk about a small chapter I got in this book. It's called Political Process and Control of a King. We covered this in prior Souls to the Polls, but I have to talk about this because it's important. The power of a king, what do we mean by the power of a king? We mean that the power that was bestowed on kings are now in the hands of politicians, presidents, judges, city officials, senators, Congress members. All those people combined have the power that a king once had. That power was transferred over to them when they transferred systems, when systems became councils and parliaments and senates and different things like that. The major problem that we face as a people is that we forgot that that power of a king was transferred over to them. We understood what a cruel ruler is when we had a feudal system. We understood that. We understood that inherited power always, most of the time, bred corruption. So we understood that over the years. So we developed these systems so that then we can have checks and balance with our government and we can have righteous and fair governments. But what happened is the people, us, we forgot that this power was transferred over to city councils, county commissioners, school board members, senators, Congress members. And as a result of that, we being abused politically. And as a result of that, that's why people don't vote. People don't vote because they forgot that their power got transferred over. That's why locally, through all communities, not just Black America, through all communities, locally, we have a low voter turnout. You go through all America and you ask most people who their city council member is, and they don't know. You ask them what district they reside in, they don't know. They ask them who their mayor is, they don't know. But you can ask most of them who their president is, and they'll know. Even your kids. So you see what the problem is? We ain't understanding the totality of how the power go. So in this book, I talks about how the power of a king to remind us as people that we transfer that power. And let me give y'all a couple of examples. King was the only one that can sentence you life and death, take property from people. Who can do that now? Judges. Take property. Judges. Who make laws, create laws, politicians. All these regulations that was done by a king is now done by our elected officials. So we need to be reminded of that as a community, as a nation, that that power got transferred over, and it's up to us to regulate that power through righteous leaders. But we can't have righteous leaders. We don't got fair elections, and we're going to get into that. So on my agenda, we have an agenda for today. It's a Souls of the Polls agenda, political awareness meetup. And the first thing on our agenda is Black Bottom. And the reason I'm talking about Black Bottom is because I'm running for council in Detroit. I'm running for city council at large. And these are issues that comes before our members of council. So right now we got a solar project, eminent domain, that's on the flow in the city of Detroit. They're going through the city, utilizing eminent domain in order to take people homes. I was just reading a case. Some of our comrades filed suit on them and made them show necessity of why they are taking these properties through the act of eminent domain. And in the lawsuit, guess what case they used to justify? Detroiters. Guess what case the city of Detroit used to justify currently using eminent domain to take poor residents' property in the Van Dyke Lynch area, the State Fair area, and all these various areas in Detroit? They using the Black Bottom case. It's a clearance case that they use to run the freeway through Black Bottom. They using that case to justify using the eminent domain right now today. So I want y'all to look at this. On one side, they saying that they want to connect I-375 in order to right the wrong of Black Bottom when there's no black residents over there. On the other side of town, they're using eminent domain to take black people properties on the other side of town, and they're using the exact same case that they used in Black Bottom to justify this, and they telling people at the same time on the other side that they're going to right the wrongs of Black Bottom by connecting I-375 back into a boulevard. Now, these games is being played only as the people think that you're ignorant and that you don't know. That's why they can play games. People don't read. People don't keep abreast of what's going on, and people don't listen. Every week we come here, look at this. This room should be crowded with people. It's the most comprehensive dialogue dealing with politics that can go on in this city, pretty much in the county that we talk about. We talk about everything anything that you can think of that might be an issue with you being represented politically, we cover it right here. Not only do we cover it, we cover adequate solutions on how to address these matters. And it's never full. But all the concerts full, Lions games full to the pack, jam packed, and nothing about that going to benefit our community. So this is our problem. We are our problem. Ignorance is our problem. So understand this. Eminent domain being used on the solar projects right now. And when I read the case, they were saying that they wanted to expand their energy and use energy in order to use these solar panels in order to light up and energize city facilities. But we have a whole lot of square footage, square miles here that you don't need to take nobody property in order to do that. When I researched the case, because when it comes out, sometimes you have to sue to get to the truth. Sometimes you have to sue to get to the truth. So the lawsuit exposed what that's really about. When I read the lawsuit, and I'm reading from the lawsuit that's pending because a friend of mine actually filed the lawsuit. So I'm reading from the lawsuit that's pending against them, and it's all boils down to blight. It's nothing about solar panels. They saying they really taking them houses because they saying they're blighted. That is their legal argument because they really don't have a necessity argument with the solar projects. None. So when it all comes down to it, they saying, listen, we getting rid of this blight. We don't care that this your shack that you done bought and you own it free and clear. You don't have rarely any taxes on it, no rent on it, you own it. And they not even compensating them enough in order to get new housing. The compensation that they giving them, they can't get new housing. $25,000, $14,000 to $25,000. That's not enough to buy a house. Now, the shacks that they taking, because a lot of them is shacks, but they own them free and clear. So who are you to say that this is unacceptable and you can't own this no more because it's in this condition? So we're gonna take you from being an owner of a home and turn you into a renter. All that is the result of one thing: cheated elections. Those are symptoms for a virus that they cheated to steal, to take, to pillage, and to run all these type of plays on people. Because see, if a person represents you properly, it's no way that they'll do things that's against you. It's so many people pushing back from the community saying they're against this. They bought off some people and gave them up to $50,000, and some people they gave $30,000. So they pitying residents against each other, giving some of the residents over there a couple more $1,000 in order for them to try to shut up or pity the other ones against each other. But overall, they taking black people property here, poor people property here. And if we don't get fair elections and get them fast, we're going to be in trouble. Brother, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I also want to thank Pastor Sue for allowing us to come here today. And what Brother Ramon and Brother Malik be speaking on, we have to keep this in mind. No one has taught us this. Not our teacher, not our college professor. This is something that you really have to be into and look up on your own. So please, ladies and gentlemen, don't take Ramon's word for it. Go look it up and bring your questions back here. And he and Malik will gladly, give you the answers, or we can go over it all together. But keep that in mind, y'all. This is something that we all learning different. Even myself, when I read his book and met him, I was astounded. And when I go and ask these politicians, they have no clue. They look at us like we crazy, and it just don't make no sense. So I want to keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Go and research anything that you think that Brother Jackson or Brother Shelton is saying, and bring it back here. We have an open mic for you, and this is an open house. And thanks, Pastor Sue, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, brother. As he just said, this is an advanced course. I literally teach people with political science degrees politics. So people, and we giving this to, I'm not getting paid to come here. I've never once got paid to sit on this stage. All the months that I've been sitting on this stage, I have never once got paid, nor have I got any kind of grants to do any of the work that I do in the community. None of it. None of the research, no, none of me, this brother, we are here because we care about the community and we see that it's an urgent need for this information to be imparted on our people. The battle, I can't repeat this. The battle that we waging in this 21st century is an intellectual battle. And we talked about that last week, that if you're not skilled intellectually, you're going to be slaughtered. And that's what's happening. These are whiz kids running these numbers on us. These ain't no heavy macho mans that want to go on a corner with you and throw no blows with you. These people, if you kick them, they might run from you. But they whiz kids. They cheating in election, creating murder, creating mayhem, creating theft. But they won't physically fight you because it's a mental thing going on. It's an intellectual battle going on. So we have to be skilled in this intellectual battle. Voter integrity. I've just filed our case this week in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeal. Case number is 24-2006. Look the case up. You will see the evidence on the case. Don't believe nobody. Don't believe no city officials. Don't believe no election officials tell you anything about that case. If you go research that case, you will see it is ironclad evidence that they are stealing and cheating these elections. They just got the case in the yesterday in the Sixth Circuit. I don't know what panel of judges that we will be pulling. Again, anybody can step in right now and file an amicus brief. Right now, our community is putting together a petition, and my brother Malik gonna be writing out the petition. You can sign this petition if you're not, you don't feel competent putting in an amicus brief. You can sign a petition, and we're gonna flood all the courts with the petition saying we all stand in unison. We can't go on with these elections like this. People that's running for office, please understand, if you don't address election fraud, you're not going to win. We're not making this up that they're cheating in elections in Detroit. We're not making it up. And I'm not saying that they're doing it this little. I'm saying that they're doing it wild. It's like wild and stupid and crazy. It's so out there that you cannot trust it the way in which it is. They going forward, and we can't trust no officials that's in office. Again, people who got family members, this is how y'all can help us. People who got family members that moved out of Detroit or who you know that never voted, why don't you DM us, give us their names. Put their names and put when they moved out of Detroit. Anybody moved out of Detroit from 2009 until right now, DM us their name. Or anybody in Detroit that you know, or if you in Detroit and you have been moving around in the last 20 years to various different locations and you never voted, get with us because you may be a plaintiff. You may be a victim of election fraud. Now, we talk about King, and we just had a King, Dr. King's celebration Monday. Voting rights. How can you respect voting rights if you don't respect fair elections? Voting rights don't exist. The Voting Rights Act that King and the civil rights leaders pushed out, it doesn't exist if we don't have fair elections. So us as a people, in order, how's we honoring, and I'm talking about black people, because they going crazy every year talking about they honoring King and they farthest from, how when we telling you that they cheating in elections and you won't care? How do you honor King? Urban League, NAACP. How do you honor King? National Action Network. How do y'all honor King and you don't address voter election integrity? You here, but the people that's with you they not here. They won't come. So how can we represent the qualities that King stood for and the civil, not just King, because a lot of times, and I want to say this, it was a multitude of people that helped King. It wasn't just King. It was very important, critical individuals that was responsible. A lot of emphasis is placed on King because he was like the face of what was going on. But it was so many other brothers that was instrumental in what King was doing. When I tell people about Whitney Young, a lot of people don't even know who Whitney Young is. Whitney Young allegedly drowned 1 year after King died too in the Atlantic Ocean. Same as A.D. King, his brother who was with him everywhere he went. I'm talking about a straight up soldier, but he played the background. He also drowned probably a year after King was killed. Both of those individuals, great swimmers, came up there. I'm talking about two of King's soldiers. I'm talking about with him every way. Whitney Young, A.D. King, both ended up dead, and they was both instrumental in the civil rights movement. Same as Abernathy, which was King's mentor, and we don't talk about it enough. Same as Asa Philip Randolph. So we give credence and we give honor to King, but we also understand that it wasn't King alone that did it, just like it can't be us alone that can do this. We the new civil rights movement. Everything we do pertains to civil rights for black people and just people in general. That's what we do. We fight for fair elections. We fight for the funding that comes to our communities so that we can address poverty and we can address crime that's going on in our community. We can't adequately address these problems if we don't address the root to these problems. That's the same when people come up to us and say, look, the city is overtaxing us. The city taking my property. The city took my homes. They took my blight. They took my lots. They ran up on my table. Water drainage me. They did everything to me. The water fees, everything you can think of. And we say, listen, those are symptoms. When you steal an election, you can do anything. Laws do not matter. When you steal an election, laws do not matter. Ultravirus means that nothing that started off illegal would never be legal. So nobody who started off illegal, they're not going to start following the law once they do it. That's just not how it go. So if we don't understand and identifying that they cheating in these here elections, then we got to understand, and cheated in, then we got to understand that they're not going to do the right thing. Again, I'm running for city council at large as a at-large candidate. I'm not a politician, period. I'm running out of necessity. I'm running to exemplify to people how representation supposed to look. So anybody, if you truly want a city council member, I'm going to be the first black city council member in Detroit, y'all. They say, man, how you saying that, Brother Ramon? And we done had black city council members for 50 years. They ain't been our city council members. They ain't did nothing for us. The bar low. I mean, what I mean by the bar, I can do more in 6 months than any of them did in 50 years. Guess what? 5 gas stations outdo them. Every one of them in 50 years. You see how low that bar is? 5 black gas stations outdo every council member, and that's nothing that we done had in 50 years. You put up 5 gas stations, and you outdid Coleman Young, all of them here. That's pathetic. So the bar's so low that we going to outdo them 100-fold, and then they going to be able to see that we never, ever had no type of representation in the 50 years we've been in Detroit. Philly never had no representation. They say, how you know Philly ain't have no representation when they got Black City? Look at how Philly look. Philly got a bigger budget than us, and that's a majority black city, but I ain't going to go off into that. Philly got a bigger budget than Detroit, and Philadelphia got a bigger voting power than Detroit. Black city, but guess what? Same problem we got here. They ain't never had a black council member there. And that's the same in Baltimore, same in Atlanta, same in St. Louis, same in Atlanta, Georgia, same in Birmingham, Alabama, same through all these black communities. And that's why they look the way that they look. Right now, we are voting to put the first black city council member in Detroit. So anybody who want to donate, my website is ramonjackson.net. You can go to it. You can see my platform. You can also donate to that, or you can ask questions. You can get involved in some kind of way. Go to that site so people can get involved if they really want representation. Ramon Jackson, that's RAMON Jackson.net. You go to that website, you can QR code it, or you can go to it and everything will pop up. I guarantee you will find no platform like that. No council member that has been transparent as I have been that's running for office. Clearly transparent with the people, telling the people exactly what's at stake. That way we can have a real discussion about representation. I'm coming to people and I'm saying, listen, I wish to control and regulate this amount of your money for y'all, and this is what I'll do for y'all with y'all own money. These are contracts. I'm gonna go over them real quick. A couple of these contracts before I ask questions. Answer questions. It was some contracts I seen on there. Now these are agendas right here. I cover this every week. These are city council agendas. If you go down to the city council meetings, Monday through Thursday, you can get one of these packets right here. And in these packets, they got all the contracts for that day that the city council will be voting on. Every day, it's gonna be a new agenda full of contracts. That's why I got this agenda. I got this agenda. These are separate. All these is filled with millions and millions and millions of dollars in contracts. Let me tell you what they done start doing now. Tuesday, we've been coming down there for probably the last couple of weeks. But I've been going down there for years, off and on. So I'm always in and out, always sending people in there. But we've been going down there consistently for the last few weeks. And what I found is, you look at this the week that we went down there was 30 of us. I think my sister over there, she was with us. You see how thick this contract is? Now, when they didn't know we was coming when the contract was this thick. When the agenda was this thick. Look how thin it done got now. Since they know we coming. And the difference in these contracts is that this contract got contractors South Carolina, North Carolina, Connecticut. Once they seen we looking, all of them mysteriously starts reading Detroit, 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 Detroit. And another thing that struck me as odd is the contracts went from being 6.6 million, 14 million, 20 million to 20,000 to Detroiters to try to fool us. So this is what we gonna do. We're going to make sure somebody down there getting that agenda every day since they want to hide from us. You ain't going to hide from our money. We want to know everything you doing with our money. The days of us not watching and not controlling our resources is over with. The days of letting Martha Reeves get in office because her name Martha Reeves, or letting a person named Michael Jordan get in office, and Dave Bing and Coleman Youngs and just going off these names, them days is over. Our candidates going to be vetted. They have to be vetted by us before they get in office, and they have to know the fiscal matter. You cannot put a person over accounting if they don't know how to count. People have to know what's going on fiscally, debt limits, bond issuance, pension debt, all these obligations. How can you put a person to represent you and they don't know anything about the fiscal matter? It's like bringing a person in and say, listen, I want you to wire this building up, all electricity in this building. That person don't know nothing about electrical work. That's disastrous. And that's what's been going on down here. That's why our debt limit right now, and I'm going to be quiet, our debt limit is 5 times the state limit. We 5 times over the debt limit. So any person getting in office, when that black person step in office, all hell going to be to tell the captain if we ain't on point and smart. Because what used to apply ain't going to apply no more. See, if they tell a new mayor that you can't do nothing because you over the debt limit, they in trouble. Can't do nothing no more. Debt limit there, and they going to say, wow, I didn't know. No, you can't issue no bonds. You can't issue no debt. So if you can't issue debt, you can't pay debt off. Because guess what? They issuing debt to pay debt off, kicking it down the road. So we don't even know that we are still swarming in debt, up to the eyeballs in debt right now. They say they was in debt and we went into bankruptcy and they came out. We is no better than that bankruptcy. First off, and let me say this, I'm going to be quiet. In that bankruptcy, they put a lot of water debt on the city. That's how they came up with that astronomical number that's slapping that the water department debt on. The water department, billions of dollars been moved back to the water department, and the city still in the same. As a matter of fact, they got more bond debt right now than they did in 2014 when they came out of bankruptcy, issuing them bonds. Right now they got more bond debt. So I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be a disaster if we don't got righteous people in office, if we don't got people in office that know the fiscal matters.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of got into this because of crime. Crime has always been high in black communities. And when I got to studying with Brother Ramon and Brother Malik, and I say, you know what? It wouldn't be so bad if we own majority of our grocery stores, party stores, gas stations, Metro PCS, fish and chips. For the Lord of me, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever go downtown and you got a park and you don't park in the parking structure, you got parking lots. You don't have not one black owned parking lot. Now you tell me how educated you need to be to tell somebody pull up in here, park over there and give me $25. And in fact, y'all, when the Lions games was going on, the people that owns it try to charge somebody $1,000. Guess who gives them the license permit? Our city council. And let me be fair to my white concentrics out here. This is blacks doing this to blacks. Let me be very clear with that. This is black, college educated Christians that we once said that we didn't have no representations. Go back to the 50s and 60s. Blacks said we can't get nowhere because we don't have no representation. Only if we can have representation. Now we got all the representations in the world, and they playing us to the left because, like Brother Ramon said, we not astute, y'all. It wasn't important to us. Now, again, reason I got it in is to crime. A lot of our black brothers, sons, uncles, and fathers wouldn't sold no dope, wouldn't kill, wouldn't be out here carjacking, cutting off your catalytic converters, home invasion. Guess what? I do believe they get their butt up and go open that store up, go open that tire show, go down and sit in the booth and say, hey, I need $25. I know that court gonna be banging. I know child support gonna be banging. This Wayne County gonna be banging. All I gotta do is sit there. I can work me 5 hours and tell my son, come on, you take it on in. So when we say astute, ladies and gentlemen, you about to hear some things that you never heard before. And we got to get this crowd up, ladies and gentlemen. Forget a Lions game. Forget going out and party. In fact, we got to pay back millions of dollars that we don't even know that they let the Fords get, let Tom Gore get, let Dan Gilbert get. This is what they run for. They ask us for our vote, and then they turn around and give it to billionaires. How stupid is we? So Malik and Ramon as well as astute. I just kind of keep it plain and simple. I want crime to go down for my older citizens, senior citizens, and for myself, for my family. One way for that to go down is for us to run our essential business, ladies and gentlemen.
If y'all have any questions, I want to say this real quick about touch on this real quick. The price gouging is happening in Detroit left and right. There's no rhyme or reason with ownership of our essential business in Detroit. There's nobody to properly regulate the pricing on them. So this is what happened downtown last week with the Lions game. They thought that they was doing that to normal Detroiters, and they wasn't. And they was doing it to people that they couldn't do that to. And that's why immediately it was action taken. But guess what? All throughout Detroit, they price gouge it and doing anything. I'm talking about charging us anything, and there's no regulation. You know why? We not respected. That's why here it is. It was people that didn't even live in Detroit calling down there about them price gouging, and they was on them immediately. We not respected. We not respected as shareholders. We not respected as a community, and that's because we not astute to what's going on. When they see that, when they know that we read and they know that we astute, they'll stop doing it. Let me tell y'all a story real quick. The city council member, Mary Sheffield, she's the youngest city council. I talks about her because she's trying to run for office, and that would be a terrible mistake for our community to put her as our mayor. It's just like voting in Kamala Harris after being next to Biden. What difference are you gonna get? She's there right now. If you like it the way that Detroit is going, absolutely not. Anyway, some years ago, I met with her and I told her one thing. I say, listen, you campaigning against yourself. Everything you doing, you are working against yourself. You making it where you're not even going to be able to run in your district no more because you're going to be able to move everybody over out of the district that look like you. Fast forward now, 9, 10 years later, nobody in her district. She can't even get a black crowd to come. So look at what happened. She called herself trying to bring the rapper Young Jeezy to Michigan and Trumbull. The residents in Michigan and Trumbull changed. They don't want to listen. They don't know no Jeezy no more. The residents over there don't know Young Jeezy. You know what this is? Man, you better get that guy out of here. We don't want to hear that mumbo jumbo coming out of here. She stopped it ASAP. Because you know why? She understood that her community changed. The people spoken. The people over there now got an interest in what goes on. And guess what? She moved just like that. I'm telling you. I done seen people go up there and cry their heart out to this lady, asking her not to vote on stuff. And she voted straight on it. They called one time and she changed. Jeezy say he ain't gonna come out and sing no raps. Residents say, we don't want to hear no rap over here. It's 7:30 at night. We gotta go to work in the morning over here. I want to hear that. Auntie, you don't want to hear that, do you? They had residents like Auntie over there. They don't want to hear no Jeezy at no 7:30 at night. But why I say that? I say that because when you step up to the plate and you become a shareholder, then the board of directors will treat you as such. The CEOs will start treating you as such. If you maintain your status as a donor, you ain't gonna get nothing. You ain't gonna get no respect. So Detroiters, let's stop being donors. Let's elevate to shareholders. Come to souls to the poll on Friday if you want to elevate from a donor to a shareholder. That's what we doing. We want to convert our peoples from donors to shareholders. All these governments is public corporations, whether it's the national, county, state, or the city. You as a taxpayer is a part of every one of them, and you're going to pay taxes to every one of them in very different facts. That's what makes you a shareholder. Now, if you don't read fiscal matters, fiscal budgets, counts, and everything else, how do you exercise your right as a shareholder? You wouldn't even know how. You don't even know what's going on. You don't even know the revenue stream. You don't even know what the board got. They telling you anything. They telling you they want to fix the schools, and they don't even got the money to fix the school. They got the money for something else. So if you want to learn how to go from being a donor to a shareholder, come to Souls to the Polls on Friday from 6 to 8, or we do another sessions on Sunday at 12:30. Again, if you want to get a righteous person in office, go to my website. That's ramonjackson.net. And you can donate and you can get involved. We need people. We need volunteers to help us get these to find these fraudulent voters. We do a verified a voter every Tuesday with a beautiful group of patriots and warriors in Detroit. Every Wednesday we do that. We meet together and we come up with strategies to locate voters. We mail them. We go to their houses. We talk to them. We sit in the city council members to see if people there. So we need help. We need more people to come on board and help. If everybody say they want fair election, they care about the civil rights, they care about the voting rights, how if you don't have fair elections?
Also, ladies and gentlemen, if to those that's listening in, our doors are open. I done been to plenty of Democratic agendas, and the doors was closed. If I disagree with them or I say anything that go here, the doors is open. You can come and ask any questions you want. You can come get involved. If you running, come give your opinion. I want to thank Pastor Sue for that again. And if there's any questions, I can come down and bring the mic. Anybody have any questions?
Can you show them a clip? Or is it any way you can show them when you guys were speaking down there last week at City Council?
I think we can probably try to see if they probably got
So
the
they can
technology to get it next week so they can see us. Right. She, Mama Lori asked us could we show some videos on these clips. So we'll try in our next sessions to show videos of us in action and us doing work. If anybody running for office, um, they will be doing a job interview soon. The job interview gonna be important. We're gonna be conducting job interviews for people to get hired to the position of a city council, a clerk, and a mayor. Why are we calling them job interviews? Last but not, we calling them job interviews because we expect our candidates, I'm one of them, to conduct themselves as if they really, really are applying for a job. The same respect that you would show a corporation when you go for your job interview, you should show us 10 times more to interview for a job where we go. Because guess what? We paying you and putting you over 10 times. People jumping through hoops to get a job to pay them $20 an hour. We about to put you over billions of dollars in our tax dollars. We're going to give you $1 million budget. We're going to give you 100. Hey, man, you better come as if with your head up on time. You better be out there studying your notes before it open 10 minutes early. The same way, if you come in here with your head held high like you our boss, we know you can't represent us because you don't understand that you work for the people.
Ramon, could you explain the donor shareholder thing one more time?
Sister T asked about the donor and the shareholder. Very important. Again, a donor is every person that live in this country. You are a donor. From the time that your parents gave you your first change to go get a piece of candy or ice cream, pop, toy, anything as a kid, you started donating right then and there. And you donated all your life since then. So the way you elevate to a shareholder is that you get involved with where your money going. First, you got to know where your tax dollars is going. Most people don't know that every city got a profit revenue sharing check that comes back to the city every year. They call it DSA, Distributable State Aid. A guy named Glenn Steele in 1971, he was a good politician to me because he put a law together, say, hey, kick back some of this money to the city from the state tax dollars. I like that. I think that was a good law. I'm telling you. So people don't know that. People don't know that the mayor of the city get their distributable state aid. And people don't also know that the mayor of the city, that the distributable state aid is often the largest revenue stream in any local municipality, the DSA. It might come third in most cities after income taxes, property taxes. It's mostly income tax, property taxes, DSA, or wage and taxes with that. So that's how you be understanding that you are shareholders, understanding those revenue streams, knowing who the board of directors is. If you don't know who your city council members is, your county commissioners is, your state reps is, or your federal reps is, you are a donor. You cannot be a shareholder because how are you going to be a shareholder? You don't even know who your board of directors is. You don't know who your board of directors, who your CEO is. You're not even regulating your CEO. So this is why we have to teach people, because majority of Americans are donors, and it's just plain and simple. They don't have a clue. I see people who say they ain't work. I know people who don't work. They say, cuz, hey man, hey bro, they say I don't pay, I ain't no tax, I don't no taxpayer because I don't work. I say, man, you paying more taxes than people who work. I say every day while they at work, you out here paying taxes and buying and living. You cannot live in this system without paying taxes. Taxes is connected to everything that you need to survive. So if a person before you and they existing and they living, they paying taxes because you got to drink water, everything essential you need to survive. So that what makes you either a donor or a shareholder because you donate. So shareholders is people who regulate the people who receive the money. So I just want to say.
I know you have a plan once you win. How long will it take to get us out of debt? I know it's going to take a long time, but do you have a plan to initiate to get out of debt with the bonds?
That's a Auntie, that's a beautiful question. That's such a beautiful question. It's like harmony to my ears. But anyway, it is. So Auntie asks, what's our plan to get us out of debt when elected in office? Well, the first plan is to push to stop payments on all those bonds. Why? Now, stopping payment, because it's like this. Every year in our budget, we have what you call debt service. And a lot of our bond payments, Detroit got probably roughly close to $200 million in debt service. And the bond payments is in that debt service. Now, my plan is to stop the payments on all illegal bonds. And then I'm going to prove that the bonds was illegal. Multiple ways I'm going to prove that the bonds violated debt limits when they issued them. State constitutional debt limits. I'm going to prove that the bonds lack notice, right to referendum given to the residents, which is a state law mandate. And I'm going to show that the bonds lack voter authorization. So with those factors, let me tell y'all this story. When Duggan took office, this is what people don't know, that Kwame had issued $1.44 billion in 40 bonds. 1.44 billion. What he did was, we was over the debt limit. Remember, this debt limit is always creeping around. It's always around. We was over the constitutional debt limit, and they couldn't issue no more debt. The city council would not approve no debt that he wanted to issue. So what he did was set up 2 dummy companies and contracted with those companies, issued the bonds through the dummy companies. When Duggan come into office, you can look up this case too, because it was all in the bankruptcy. When Duggan come to office, he stopped the payments on it. Bondholders went crazy. They say, hey, he stopped. And you know what he say? He say, we can't contract with a company that don't exist. It's a dummy company. And they was able to prove that. They settled for pennies on the dollar on that bond payment. I think we end up coming out of roughly around, we end up really didn't come out of nothing, because the revenue streams that they end up getting from us, they got the Grand Circus Park Garage revenue, they got the Windsor Tunnel revenue, and they also got Joe Louis space. We tore the building down for them. You hear that? We paid money to tear the building down in order to turn it over to the developers based on a black man who supposed to represent us to issue the bond. And he'll tell us right now, I only went to prison for this. Because he know most people don't know about cops bonds and details of that. Most people don't know that we just paid to tear down the Joe Louis site and give it to the developers through a $12 million bond 2 years ago for Kwame Kilpatrick. Who knows that? They say he been gone 15 years ago. But this is what lack of representation do. Trickles on down the line. So anybody got any more questions?
Hi, Ramon.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Very good. Tim Vetter, Fani Manchavati, and I co-founded checkmyvote.org. So what I want to share with you, we're going to be giving you a lot of data, very important data, and I want you to explain to the audience what you can do with this information. So let me just briefly tell you what kind of information we will provide. So we have a list of hundreds of individuals by name, address, that are identified in our voter rolls as voting more than two times or more. We know that they're very likely only voting one time in person, but an absentee ballot has also been cast without their knowledge. That's one type of data set. Another data set, we have the national change of address, where they have identified all the undeliverable addresses because they're abandoned buildings and empty lots. And we also will FOIA the Detroit Land Bank to also get that additional data. So we're going to be able to get to you a lot of information about where people are registered and voting from addresses where they do not live. So can you share with your audience, with this new information we are going to get in your hands, in the next week, you're going to need people to follow up with that.
Thank you. With the information, we're going to need volunteers because we're going to want to take the list of people that we know on the list that we get that's double voting. We want to go out and we want to bring those people on board. We want to actually build fighters out of the victims. So we're going to identify the victims, but oftentimes we got to let the victims know how they're being victimized. So what we're going to do with that information and the information that we got, we're going to take the information. Anybody that want to volunteer, you can come out on Wednesday and get with us, and we can tell you where our Wednesday meeting at, or you can come to Souls to the Poll on Friday and Thursday, and we'll get with you and show you how we can take and go verify these individuals so that we can build these voters up. So thank you, too. We would be coordinating with, it's different groups from Michigan that works with us, and I want to talk to black people. They have been great help to us on bringing light to election fraud. I found that I was running up a hill trying to go to black people in Detroit in order to get help because they had got under a spell that anybody that talk about elections being stolen is an election denier that support Trump. So that narrative helped them cheat us in elections in the last 4 years. It even got us to forget that we had knew about them cheating in Detroit for years. So just wanted to say that. Anybody got any?
I'm confused about some timelines. When was Kwame Kilpatrick mayor of Detroit and did that with the bonds? And then when was Snyder in as governor when he supposedly got Detroit out of debt? You know, he went to help them go through bankruptcy so they could clear out all their debt. What?
Kwame was mayor from 2002 until 2009, and those cops bonds I'm talking about was issued in 2004. Actually, Deputy Mayor Adams was. This is a case that's in the courts. If you go to the 600-page bankruptcy case, this actual case is in that case of when Duggan came in office and did it. And Snyder, when he came in office, see, our debt was inflated. It was all contrived. The same debt right now, I can show that Detroit, if you combine the water debt, it's right back up to $13 billion, $14 billion. Right now.
After all that?
Actually, the water debt never ever went down, so it's billions in water debt. Billions in water debt from the water authorities. We have billions in debt, bond debt from the public authorities. We have billions in bond debt from the city, and then we have billions in pension debt from the city. We swallowing in debt. So if we don't get it right, but see, no, you got 9 black council members that's nincompoops. And I'm just being honest. I wouldn't dare put them over my money. I talk to them intellectually, nincompoops.
Oh, 2 quick things. First one, real briefly, the city land bank. If anybody house was taken by land bank, it's a class action lawsuit going on. I had lawyers call me and my lawyer, so I just wanted to throw that out there. If anybody lost property or house through land bank, they got a class action suit. Second thing is, I want to ask this one question. I heard that, and I'm sure it's true, that Trump got rid of a company called DEI. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but if you have,
it's not a company.
I mean,
yeah,
organization.
I understand what you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about.
But I'm just trying to get understanding exactly who they. It's so many divisions. I'm trying to understand who they are.
I think that's more so a concept because it is used throughout all the governments. the DEI. Now, let me tell you this, because this was going to be controversial, and I was going to eventually talk about some of the things that's been happening with the Trump administration and black people, because I know. Let me ask you a question. As a black man, since DEI been out, how have that benefited you?
Ain't benefit me.
Who the How have DEI benefited you?
I don't even know what it
Okay,
is.
so listen. So
They got
what
so
we
many tricks.
so look, what we got here is we have a policy that's supposed to benefit us, and it ain't never benefited us for real. And then here it is, they saying he's taking this policy that ain't benefit us, and black people saying, hey man, where you about to take DEI? Look at what he doing. This ain't never even benefited us. We don't know nothing about it. So that's how crazy that let me tell you my experience with DEI. My experience with DEI is judges like Kyra Bolden Harris. That's my experience with her. That they never did a case corrupt in every like listen, this lady, I wouldn't hire her as an attorney to do a jaywalking case for me. But she's a Michigan Supreme. I'm a black man, and I'm not telling you. I put cases before these people. Yeah. So I'm not a person that just run their mouth and everything. I put you through the test. I put a righteous case before you. Same with Katana Jackson. Same one don't know what a woman is. So at the end of the day, that's what DEI gets us. Nothing. We sitting here talking about what we lose and we ain't never had it. Any huh? Oh, equity, diversity, equity, inclusion. It's a concept. Everybody using it. It's a con. And see, people say they being racist when they taking it away, but actually it's wasted. We ain't benefiting from it. I'm gonna tell you this. Right now, I had to take my case, and I gotta say this. I had to take my case and find a different damages and a different group besides race, because they telling me if I can't identify race as an issue, I can't prevail in my lawsuit. And I'm like, it ain't race. And they like, nope, you better come up with race. So you see what race done did? Race done turned around and held us back, because they said, oh, you can't identify that did they discriminate against you based on race? And you like, no, but they discriminate against me based on this, and this, but it ain't race. They like, no, if it ain't race. So that's what race done did to us. I'm like, get that out of here. I had to literally take my case right now pending, and I had to create a targeted group outside of race, because they said, you ain't show that did they discriminate against you and vote and take your voting rights because you black? I say, black people doing this to me. I can't, it's not black. These black people, that's my defendants in the case. So that has been a hindrance on us as a people. When we got everything right and we invoking our power as a community and we got our things in order, we don't need that type of stuff.
Is there any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? One more, y'all.
Thank you. Before Trump left office the first time, he gave the black colleges money. And so they never talk about it on the news. They never said anything. He gave all the black colleges money so they wouldn't have to beg him every year for the students. So, but they don't talk about that, because he would ask, why are you still coming here every year to get money for your black students? And he said, I'm gonna write you a check. He wrote a check to give them all money so they don't have to file for anything or ask for grants or anything. But people don't know about that stuff, that he did that. Oh, he's a racist. He don't care about black people. He said, stop coming down here. You begging every year.
Hey, real quick, I think that this is the truth. Don't matter who you are in this life here. You got prejudice and you got stereotypes. People kill me. Black people call white people crackers all day. Like seriously. Crackers, 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 and that's okay. But if white call black niggas all day, and they can say nigga this, nigga that, it's the same. They call blacks call crackers white people crackers all day, and there's nothing wrong with it. So everybody have these form of stereotypes, prejudice, and it's just normal in life, and that's just the way people is. Do they mean they hate a different race? No, it's just the way people is. Everybody got it. I remember Sister D came to the place and we was talking about how hot the food is. I say, listen, Sister D, when you bring food, it's gonna be too bland to black people. You know what I'm saying? It's just simple as that. You gonna say it's too hot to us? It's gonna be too hot to you. I told her it was too hot for me too. She's hot. Me and her eating, we in the corner. She like, it's hot. I'm like, it's hot in the fire. So I say, when you bring some food, we gonna say your food too bland. It ain't spicy enough. So this just how it is, and we gotta understand that as people, man. We get caught up on the wrong things too much. So do anybody got any more questions?
Yeah, that's culture. That's culture. I got you coming.
Yes, sir.
I got you coming.
I think this is really, really important, the material that you're getting out and that we're acting on it. It's not just an academic expression or something. And with Trump in there now, we actually have a chance, I think, to clean up the elections and bring back Detroit to life. There's a lot of Republicans in this room, and it's a new political party. It's not the corrupt party of the Bushes. It's the Trump-Lincoln Republican Party. And I think we can work together to get you elected, and I'm wondering what you have to say to us, what people that are listening can do to help your campaign.
Spread. I gave my website. You can share my website with different people straight through a text message through the phone. The more people we get to know, we just need people to know the name Ramon Jackson in the city of Detroit. And just get that name out to as many people as we can. We all know what the objective is to get a righteous person in that can affect change. Sister, we gonna be on Trump neck for everything he promised. We hold him as a CEO, as the king of this country. We holding him to the fire. We got to march up there to him. We want fair elections. He ran and he said that he wanted the elections to be fair, so we hold him to that. So and I feel confident in myself that with the new Department of Justice, I already feel more confident. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt unsafe under that old Department of Justice under Biden and Harris. Black people, I ain't trust them. Ain't that crazy? Y'all out here talking about y'all fear Trump. I fear Biden and Harris in that department and that rogue Department of Justice. I'm not lying to you. From the time Trump got elected, from the time of his inauguration, I feared them. I feared them because I know the work that I have done against them. Not just a make-believe fear of them. I know the work that I have been doing in order to uncover so much fraud that I fear them. So when I hear black people saying they fear the new department, I fear that old Department of Justice. I fear them setting me up. I fear them doing everything, blocking the message, doing everything in the world to it. Because I know one thing. Out of two candidates, I'm going to be quiet. Out of two candidates, two black and a white candidate, that black candidate might put you in jail if you say the elections is fair, y'all. I'm telling you. We couldn't go to that black lady and say nothing about no elections being stolen. She don't want to talk to you, and you hope you don't go to jail. So that's where we at.
Okay, last question, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, nope, we got two more after that.
Hey, Ramon. What do you identify as, Republican, Independent, or Democrat?
I'm a Republican. For sure.
You identify as a Republican?
Yes, sir.
Now, you know it's going to be hard because a lot of people are Democrats here.
They don't know it's not.
No,
it's not. We killing that. It ain't hard. They know, because I'm going to tell you why. They know who I am. They know who I am. It's a lot of Democrats here that's voting for me. They don't mind if I'm. See, when they know who you are, it don't even matter. So that ain't even going to be no problem because the platform is going to supersede everything they saying, and us is changing that right now. They don't even feel like, look at this right here. You got Republicans and some people, Democrats, sitting in the room together right now. I don't know how many. They sitting here right now. When did this happen? This didn't go on in Detroit a couple years ago. This goes on every week at this church here. This is why this church is a very important church, because it's bringing people together. I would never be with Constantine in other lives. We would never be together. Me and her would never be together. Fudel and y'all would have never been together if it wasn't for this church. Me and you wouldn't have never ran across each other if it wasn't for this. So we already bridging that gap right now with each other.
And we got to change that narrative. It's not about what party you pick. It's about the agenda. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if a dog came in here and say, do you want to own your own essential business? We better listen to that dog.
In order for you to win, and in order for us to get the truth out about so many things, we need to have like a system to be able to communicate with a wider audience. This church is great, but we got to communicate with a wider audience out there and get the word out about you and get the word out about all the good things Trump has done and things like that. Do you have any ideas for how to go about that, or what we can do to get the truth out?
We like I said, we got a detailed campaign on how we can get the message out. I'm a candidate. I'm not a candidate that just jumped out here and decided I was gonna run for office. I done taught politics through every corner of Detroit. So anybody in the political world already know me, and the community know me. So really what we have to do is just push it a little bit and share information. Don't fundraise. We got to fundraise because we're going to need to hit all the local nightclubs and different things like that, so we can talk to those people, go in those barbershops, go in those communities, engage with the small group of elderly people. So share and help us fundraise, and we can win, and we can win it. Once we put somebody in the seat down here that's righteous, then we can flip Detroit. Because once they see the work, and I don't just say, I know we need 5 people out of 9 to make change, but my strategy as a council member is that you can't vote on whether or not we're gonna violate the law. So once I come and say this is a law, it's no vote. It ain't up for vote. So I'm gonna show a lot of times how a lot of those things they doing that's hurting the community actually violate the law. And then when somebody from the inside there pushing that to the people, and that's after I'm elected. So to answer your question, we all share, fundraise, get the information out. If anybody got a social media site, if you feel confident enough to watch and stay and watch this, you should be able to share it. If you watch it, if you watching this and it's important to you, why not share it? What's stopping you from sharing it? So share the information, and we just got to get the name out, and we almost there.
Okay, last question.
Thank you. Can I ask 2 quick questions?
Yes.
When is your the date of your city council at large election going to be? And can you have some flyers being made? That way we can help distribute them to the houses.
Yeah, I got some flyers today. Our primary is in August. Our primary election is gonna be August. I have flyers right now that got QR codes on them that people can go to my site. They are water drainage flyers. They address water drainage fee. I have a strategy to target particular individuals in the city. One thing I learned about our voters here is that if they don't feel like what you're talking about directly affect them, they're not interested in voting. So my strategy is to meet them where they at. People who got water drainage problems, we meet them in the water drainage problem area. People who got problem with overtaxation, we meet them. People who need contracts, we meet them. And that's where we bring everybody needs together, because if a person feel like his need ain't getting met, they not gonna vote for you. So we gotta incentivize voting here. And so that way we need people to get out and make sure that we fundraise. So again, RamonJackson.net. I have RamonJackson.net. And it's various ways you can donate, and you can easily share my website with people through phone or through social media, and to get the message out where they just know the name. Get the name out there, because people vote off name here. Black people know. They say, name your son Michael Jordan. He get in. Name, for real, I'm telling you, it's just that simple. They name him Michael Jordan, name Michael Johnson. They be like, I voted for him because his name was Michael Johnson. So people know that. So let's get the name. I ain't lying. Sister T, you already know that. They crazy. They be naming them all kind of stuff. Name him Denzel Washington. And be like, he ain't got nothing to do with Denzel Washington. He be my name talking about he's Denzel Washington. So make that name known, and we win. I win, we all win, because I'm working for the people. I'm strapping on my boots. I'm wearing my combat boots. I ain't letting them steal nothing from the residents. I'm telling y'all, I would not let them steal y'all resources. I will fight for y'all resources. I'm acceptable with the pay that y'all pay me to do the job that I'm going to do. And I'm going to do that job, and I'm going to make sure that we can affect change. So any more questions? You said what now? Oh, yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hey, thank y'all for coming out. Drive safely and be safe, y'all. If y'all can, give our pastor a call. Y'all give him some encouragement, y'all. He gonna need it. That's our brother.